Imagine with me a dining table. It's not fancy, not perfect. It's just a table. There's a mismatched chair pulled up close. A handmade basket of warm rolls is in the middle. Someone's reaching to pass the wine. Someone's laughing with a delightful giggle. And someone else pauses just before they speak. Before we were opinions, and before we were profiles on a screen, we were just people sitting at tables. We live in a world that is loud, divided, and honestly, y'all, it's really lonely. Everyone is shouting opinions, scrolling endlessly, and pulling away from anything or anyone they don't agree with. I believe one of the most radical things we can do right now is open our doors, because hospitality at its heart is hope in action. It's saying, I see you. Come sit with me. You belong here. And I keep wondering what would happen if we met at the table and just talked. Crazy idea, right? So I've got a challenge for y'all. I want you to pick a night and invite someone over. Open your door and let your home be the haven where radical hospitality takes root, where connection is chosen over comfort and hope is set right in the middle of the table. Because one dinner party won't change the world, but it might change yours. Hi, y'all. I'm Ashley. I was born and raised right here in Asheville, North Carolina. Welcome to my town. Nestled in the Hawk Creek Valley, just a couple of mountains over, my childhood home was a haven for hospitality. After summer nights at the pool, a ball game, or even the grocery line, my mom would see someone she knew, and out came, "Y'all want to come over for dinner tonight?" It wasn't planned. In fact, it was a bit chaotic. Friends who felt like family gathered around our two tables, heaping bowls of chilly, quieted, rowdy boys, and parents exhaled into conversation. I know, it sounds like a Norman Rockwell painting in a picture book, right? But y'all, that was my normal, and I'm so grateful for it. You'd often find people gathered in our dining room, extra chairs pulling them way too close for comfort. Family recipes filled the fifth-generation table, and the invitation for conversation was ready and waiting. But somewhere along the way, those invitations started to fade. People got busy. People chose screens instead of faces, and people started drawing lines instead of pulling up chairs. Now, fast forward from my darling Norman Rockwell childhood. I dropped out of college and I moved back home because I was staring down a life circumstance that knocked the wind out of me. I couldn't get out of bed. I found myself in a lonely pit that never appeared in the picture books of my childhood. But here's the thing about loneliness. We don't always know we're in it until someone pulls us out. Before leaving for work, my mom would peek her head into my room and ask, "Ash, would you mind having dinner ready for us when we get home?" Sure, I could do that. Those weeknight dinners gradually shifted to, "Hey, you want to invite some people over for Sunday lunch?" That simple, ordinary ask from my mom guided me out of bed, out of that lonely pit, and into a life shaped by gathering. Sometimes the cure for loneliness isn't therapy or technology, it's tacos. Or it might be the simple invitation to come on in. In our noisy world of scrolling and disconnect, we can do something so simple it's become radical. I believe dinner parties can change the world. Dinner parties aren't about fancy menus or cute matching napkins. They're about creating space for connection and courage. For us to climb out of that lonely pit, we need a real, live human in front of us. And that's where setting the table for other people comes in. When I say host a dinner party, what do you think of? Are you thinking of those glossy Martha Stewart magazine parties? Handmade napkin rings, color-coordinated everything, menus that require a sous chef? Me too, and I love those parties. For a long time, I thought that's what hosting was supposed to look like. Big, elaborate gatherings with all the people, everything timed perfectly, the table set like it belonged in that magazine. As I listened to conversations buzzing around the table, I realized my mindset was shifting. I didn't want big and bold anymore. I wanted close and connected. I craved smaller, more intimate dinners where one conversation happened instead of several at once. Because y'all, those big parties started to feel more lonely than life-giving. So I shifted how I hosted. I let go of the elaborate menus, trying to do it all myself, and I began asking people to bring something with them. A dessert, maybe a bottle of wine, perhaps even a story or a power drill. Dinner parties might seem like casseroles and candles, yet they're hidden acts of hope. They say, you belong here, and that's how the world changes, quietly, one meal at a time. The table has this quiet kind of power. It says, hey, put down your phone, lay down your defenses, and try listening more than you speak. The table begs us to see the person across from us, face to face, human to human. Hosting when life feels messy is that form of hope we are all craving. Because when we gather with intention, people soften. They listen, they feel seen, and that quiet ache of loneliness, it starts to lift. The table is where we get to ask questions we're not sure we get to voice out loud. That means your conversation could get a little messy. But y'all, that's where change begins. I don't know about you, but I'd rather sit across from someone who challenges how I see the world than keep talking in circles with someone who always agrees. That's not a connection, that's an echo. The best conversations don't end when the plates are cleared. You carry them with you. And sometimes you text the host the next day and say, can we do this again? I can't stop thinking about what Joanne said. Y'all, that's how change happens. Slowly, through curiosity, through staying and choosing the relationship. Now, sometimes we leave the table with an unfinished conversation. And that is such a gift, y'all. It gives you a reason to gather again, not to win that conversation, but to choose the relationship. When I say host a dinner party, are you panicking? Your baseboards aren't clean. Your junk drawer is a disaster. You don't like to cook, and you think your home is too small? Friends, listen to me. You don't need clean baseboards. You don't need a magazine-worthy home. You don't need to cook. You don't even need a dining table. People need you. Fun fact about me, I'm single and I host a lot. But I can't tell you how many times someone has said, Ashley, I can't believe how much you host. I could never do that if I were single. I would be way too scared. There's a lot to unpack in that statement, but y'all, hosting while single isn't fearless. It's a choice. It's choosing to be the invite when no one else is. I'm not better because I host a lot. I don't want to be lonely, and I'm tired of waiting for someone else to invite me. Let's chat about the table. I don't just mean your dining table. It might be a coffee table covered in takeout and laughter. Maybe it's your conference table where ideas spark and courage shows up. Or it might even be a desk where a coworker leans in and says, "Can we talk about something hard?" The table isn't about that piece of furniture. It's about the space we create for connection. And that's where radical hospitality begins. Radical hospitality isn't about having an agenda. It's simply valuing connection over comfort. It's opening your door to someone who doesn't think or live exactly like you do. It's greeting people with charm, honesty, and courage, because the world doesn't meet at the table by itself. It takes someone's charm to open the door. It takes someone's honesty to start the hard conversation, and it takes someone's courage to stay and choose the relationship. While everyone shouts, scrolls, and drifts apart, I have a simple belief. Dinner parties can change the world. Not in big, flashy ways, but in small, quiet moments. So back to our challenge. Pick a night and invite a few people over. Open your door and welcome them in. Reclaim your table with one hope-filled invitation, one open seat, and a giant heap of courage. Because one dinner party won't change the world, but it might change yours.